Hey, Dr. Serendipity here, continuing with Chapter 8 of Medical Apartheid, titled The Black Stork. In my last post that you just saw, we talked about the Mississippi appendectomy. If you didn't see that, please take a look. Going on further in this chapter, talks about a Dr. Harry Hazelden in 1915. He was heralded with the first wave of U.S. eugenics, where he gained fame and wealth by exploiting the evil legacy of the black mother. He was basically the Dr. Kevorkian of the time. Essentially, he took black babies that he felt were unfit for life. He titled it as defective, and he killed them. Between 1915 and 1918, there were 5 other babies that he had killed because he didn't think that they were fit for life. Later, he even decided to make a film to popularize his eugenic ideals. The film was titled The Black Stork. I haven't seen this. Not sure if I'm going to be able to watch something like that. Reading about it is enough. Now, something that we're all familiar in terms of limiting reproduction is when women are on the pill, or they have an implant, or they have an IUD or something like that. Well, the pill, starting back in like the 1960s, 1970s, was initially very much pushed and made available to poor black women. It was free, it was cheap, or very cheap, and from government-sponsored programs. There was understandably a lot of opposition to this, considering that there had been forced sterilization, like I talked about the Mississippi appendectomy, and a lot of fear. And considering the last chapter we talked about in the Tuskegee experiment, now we're talking about the 1970s, and the Tuskegee experiment all the way went up to 1972. And so there was a lot of fear that this was planned, almost considered genocide, and trying to get rid of the black population. But besides this push on the black population, the pill, Norplant, and Depo-Provera shot were first tested in Mexico, Africa, Brazil, Puerto Rico, and India. Once approved, they were administered to a large number of girls and women in the U.S. So basically they figured, let's just test it on people that we don't care about until we figure out what the side effects are. But of course, there were lots of people out there that justified the idea of controlling the black population because they figured it was a problem and this was sort of the solution. Even in 1991, Norplant fan David Duke, that's right, David Duke, former KKK Grand Wizard, introduced legislation whereby women on welfare who agreed to Norplant implantation would be paid $100 annually. Now, I don't have the study right here in front of me, but I think there's a study that shows that the myth is that it's more black women on welfare with kids, and that's not actually the case. I'm sorry, I can't give you those numbers, but that's something that you should look up. But thinking that this was a solution was completely false, and especially when they're talking about teenage pregnancy. In 1992, 73% of 15-year-old girls and 50% of 17-year-old girls were virgins, and more white teenage girls than black girls became pregnant. This is a study that's in this book, and you can read all of the things. One of the things I love about this book is that she puts all of her sources in here, so you can go and actually look at these studies. The last segment of this chapter, I'm actually not going to go into, but it is titled The Myth of the Crack Baby. I'm not going to go into it because I'm trying to entice you guys to get this book, read this book. Google it, get it off Amazon. It's in my Amazon buys or whatever. You can get it from there. But overall, this chapter, again, titled The Black Stork, was talking about control of the African-American reproduction rate and a lot of myths behind it, and a lot of, again, testing and just forced surgeries and experimentation again. So thanks for watching. Next, we're going to get into chapter 9. I might take a little bit of a break on this. I got some other stuff I want to talk about, a topic that's very important, especially this time of year for me, talking about grief. So please check that out next. Again, also I'm putting some of these things on my YouTube as well. I'm trying to do some longer versions there. All right, thanks for watching.